G'day guys, back here again. Hopefully that little bit of light up on the top's not a bit of a pain. But at the moment I'm doing the Victrix elephants. I put that there. You can see that I've put the transfers up the side of the elephants. Now they come in a sheet like that. You've got to be extremely careful when you cut these lines down here that you do it exactly as it is and you leave no white. If you leave white when you peel the transfer off, it's a right pain. But if you cut them exactly right, they do fit. Now when I did my first elephants, I attached this bottom piece here, the cloth that the wee tower sits on. I attached that to here, to the elephant. Now if you do that, you run into trouble because the transfer goes actually up further than where that tower sits. So last time I had to stick the transfer in and get my knife and try and push it up underneath and try and trim it off, and yeah, it was a nightmare. So if you're doing Victrix elephants and you're putting on the transfers for the blankets and stuff, do not attach this piece here, the bottom of the tower, because it comes in pieces obviously. You're just creating trouble for yourself. So attach the transfers first, peel them off, and then attach your tower first. So in this case, I'm going to paint it up, put all the transfers on first before I attach. Of course, you paint, if you haven't done these transfers before from Little Big Man or Victrix, I think they're still Little Big Man, you paint them white. Now you can paint it really good white. I just do a splash of white. It doesn't seem to matter as long as it's white and not some other colour, because it changes the look of the transfer. Like in this case here, I don't know if you can see, but down the side of the rope, I've just got a little bit of white paint. So before I actually peel off that paper, I'm going to touch up and just repaint that, make sure that I've got rid of that little bit of white. It's easier before you take the transfer off than it is afterwards. One thing I do is I'll try and match the colour of the blanket with my paints, and I will paint out any little bits of white left from underneath. And it does happen, no matter how good you are, little bits of white come through. And what I'll do is I'll paint that out, and then I usually paint a little bit over the transfer too, and just blend it in a little bit to get it right. So that's kind of that. Now in all these things, like even on, let me grab the transfer, especially on these blankets here, there's these little bits here. When you trim it, I trim down here and I trim across the top, and then I trim that little bit off. So I don't trim on the bigger side, trim on the little side, so because it's just too hard to hold that little piece afterwards. So if you trim across the top, trim down, and then trim exactly down the edge of that little triangle, and then you peel it off. It's the same with these things here on the towers. I trim all the way around, and you want to leave no white. Then I do a cut down on each inside here, on each inside of those things there, and down there. And then I trim across, and the little blocks will fall out. If you trim across and leave yourself just that wee thin strip, then you've got to try and hold on to it and get an exact cut. It makes it just that little bit harder. So these are just little tricks and tips that I've learnt from doing it. So what I'll do now is I'll pause the camera, and I'll get on with attaching. Just in case you haven't used these before, they've got a plastic cover on it, which I just use like a hobby knife to flick off. You've got to be quite careful. Some of them are stuck on a little bit harder than others, some of them come off really easy. And then that's sticky, and you stick that onto the elephant, and then you wet the back, and it comes off, and then you've got your transfer left. So, right, so I'll see you soon. So carrying on with our tips and tricks for the Victrix war elephants. We've got the elephant here, and as I said, you don't want to glue this part here on. I suppose it's the material part. There'll be a name for it. I don't know. You want to do that separately because the transfers go up and underneath that part. Makes it really hard. So I put the transfers on, then I've touched up around where the rope is, so I put a little bit of dark brown, same as I did for the base of the rope. And also here, one other thing is that if you're doing multiples of these at the same time, the first time I cut them out, I cut out a whole heap, and I think I ended up, it didn't join properly, and I couldn't figure out why, because when I did my test it was like, oh, that joins fine. Put them all together and it didn't join properly on both the towers. I think what I did is I put a back with a back. So there is a back and there is a front on these. And you've got to make sure that when you put the transfers on, you also put the front on the front. And the back is lower down than the front. So make sure that if you're cutting out multiples at the same time, that you have a back and a front. Just a wee tip. Probably a silly wee novice mistake by me. And then simply what you do is you get your water and I mean, all you guys that have done these transfers already know that this is what you do, but if it's your first time, put some water on your transfers. I usually do a couple at the same time. Actually, you could pretty much just go ahead and wet round anyway. I mean, even with the little touch-ups that I've done, I can already see there'll be some little bits that will need painting in. I mean, the last thing you want to do is leave white areas. It just wrecks all that hard work that you've done. And as I said before, when you're cutting these transfers out, be exceptionally careful. Take your time. You don't just want to get your scissors in there. I mean, that's right. If you trim a tiny bit off, there's more white. If you leave it a little bit extra on, see what happens is, here we go. It's probably a bit dark, but I'll take some photographs of that later. But these the first mini, and they just slide off. Sometimes you need a little bit more water. It will just carefully slide off, and you're left with all these little bits of paper. And the more care that you've taken, see on this one, you might be able to see down that side, down this side over here. See that little bit of white? So I'll have to actually paint and fix that, because you just don't want to have those bits there. And it's just worth taking your time to get it right. I mean, if by some chance you're painting for other people, you don't have a choice. You've got to get it right. So as simple as that. All the transfers are on. I mean, it took a little bit to get them on, get them right, but it's worth it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'll do an elephant. Now, just make sure, because it's all kind of curved and angled, just press those transfers down again before you apply your water, and then we'll wet that. I quite enjoy doing elephants. I quite enjoy doing everything. Just painting full stop. Okay, so we've wet that. We just wait just a little bit. Okay, the top ones come off. And the next one, let's see if I can. And of course, the one that I want to show you. Here we go. Just slides off. And there. Yeah, not too bad. So this one's got black on it. I wonder if I turn that on. No, it makes it worse. I was going to say if I turn that on, and just turn this other one here off, maybe that's affecting the camera. No, because it's black, it makes it a bit hard to see. And so what will happen is that one there will sit. I'll glue that on top of that. As simple as that. So yeah. So transfers are on there. At the moment they're a bit shiny. Don't put dull coat or a matte varnish straight over something that's glossy. So you've got a matte elephant, and you might think, oh, I'll just spray the transfer and make it matte. You want to spray everything and make everything gloss first, so it's all gloss, and then spray matte over the whole lot, and you'll get a better finish. So I can already see on here there's little bits of white around it. It's pretty good actually. There's only just at the front here and down the bottom on that side, and on the other side I've actually got it perfect. There's none at all. So really happy with that. I mean, there's a little bit of edging down the side of the blanket which I'll touch up, but that's all pretty good. So yeah, Victrix elephants. If I was going to do a review on them, they're easy to put together. The only tricky things are these guys and their long spears, and these guys and their very thin spears. So be very careful how you paint the spears. With these guys, I do an extra long base that covers the area where it is, so you don't bump into it as you're doing it, because you don't want to bump the spear and snap it after the hard work that you've done. But they're beautiful miniatures. I would give these guys a thumbs up. They would definitely be something that if I didn't already have elephants, I would purchase and put into my army. So yeah, it's a great product. You can make Namibian elephants, Carthaginian elephants, and is it Potomac? Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, you can make those. It's all good, eh? So hope that's helped somebody out there on how to do your Victrix elephants. Make sure you don't stick that tower on with the wee blanket before you put your transfers on, and you'll be sweet. So cheers guys, take care. Hey, like the video if it's been a help. Leave me some comments. Maybe you've got a comment that might help some of the other guys. And if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Cheers guys, see you. So here we have the finished products. I just got to say, these Victrix elephants and their crew, they're really well designed. They're beautiful models, and if this was as I said, a review on them, I would give them a big thumbs up. The transfers fit perfectly, as long as you trim them nice and carefully, that is. And the models have great detail. They paint up really well, and they go together really easily. So I hope this has been helpful to you, and I hope you enjoy what you're looking at. Yeah, cheers to everyone. If you like what you see, please subscribe, leave a comment, and if you've got more tips and things like that, tricks, please leave those in the comments so others can learn from them as well. But take care, and I hope you've enjoyed.